Legend has it that it was written by the Dark Ones, Necronomicon Ex Mortis, roughly translated, Book of the Dead. The book served as a passageway to the evil worlds beyond. It was written long ago, when the seas ran red with blood. It was this blood that was used to ink the book. In the year 1300 AD, the book disappeared. Hi, I'm Merrick D'Amato.
And I'm Classic Gamer.
And welcome back to Narwhal and Classix Post-Play Podcast, and Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween on Halloween night.
Ooh. So, as you probably gathered by that monologue, and more so by the title and thumbnail of the video, granted.
If you haven't already got it.
If you haven't already figured it out, you are very slow. Or this is auto-playing in like a playlist for you or something, and you're not looking at your screen, in which case, fair enough. But we're doing an Evil Dead game.
Yes.
Evil Dead, Hail to the King.
Yes, and I just got it in my mind. I swear to God, you recommended this game to me.
I did, but your Halloween Let's Play of it, you did before we started talking. So,
okay.
I do recommend it because I absolutely adore the I love Evil Dead. Like, I have a lot of the comic books. I have all the movies. I have the musical. I have a bootleg DVD copy of the musical.
A musical?
Yes, there's a musical.
It's a stage show?
Yes.
Oh, gold.
It's Canadian.
Oh, okay.
Well, I mean,
cool.
There's a stage show of Beetlejuice, so why not?
Beetlejuice.
Yeah, there's a musical. It's pretty good.
I'll take your word for it.
I have the special edition of the first movie that comes in a replica of the book, and I have a puppet of Ash from the show.
Very nice.
Because in one of the episodes of the show, he's in a mental institution, and he has a hand puppet of himself. He has like a Muppet of himself. And it's brilliant, and I have it. It's great.
Because he's gone mad.
Yes. The thing is, the puppet's mouth moves. It's on his right hand. Think about that.
Oh yeah, the hand that you lost.
The hand he doesn't have, yeah. So...
What, is it just that he lost it, or before anything, or was it? I thought it was like chopped off or something.
He did cut the hand. In the second movie, his hand gets possessed by evil, so he cuts it off with a chainsaw, and eventually converts the chainsaw into a hand.
Which is where the whole groovy comes from.
Groovy, yeah. He also, in the third movie, builds like a kind of kind of robotic hand out of a medieval gauntlet.
Oh dear.
And it has super strength.
Oh, gold.
And in the comics, he can actually ratchet it and fire it like a rocket fist at people.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Evil Dead is ridiculous, and I love it. So it got a few games. It got this, like, a Commodore 64 game, which is on the Commodore, so no one cares about it. But its first, like, big game was Hail to the King, which I believe came out in...
99?
98 or 99, I think.
For the PlayStation 1, the PC, Dreamcast.
And that's it.
Yes? Yeah, it was a Dreamcast. Yep.
It came out in 2000.
Oh, I was close.
In North America, and 2001 in the EU.
I was very close.
I played the PlayStation version. They're the same game, fundamentally.
So did I. I played the PS1 as well.
Because I don't like the Dreamcast. I do not like trying to emulate the Dreamcast. It doesn't work. And
I find it doesn't work unless you have the right controller. That's what I find.
Well, I just find the games don't run properly. Like I did
I think they
the
have
Ring.
I think they have improved it
Because
since that.
the only one I did was years and years ago.
I think it's Redream, the emulator
Yeah,
for Dreamcast.
and it is easier to get a PS1 game to run on my computer than it is to get a Windows 95 game to run on my computer.
Yes, but as I was saying, when I was saying what I was saying last week about repack sites, Evil Dead is actually on the repack site that I use because I swear to God I've seen it on there.
But
Let me see if I.
it's better to just play on the PS1 anyway. It was made for the PS1. It's better to play it on the PS1. This game plays
No,
better with
correction.
controller anyway.
It's not on there. I thought it was. It will be under Evil Dead, wouldn't it? It will be under like
Yeah.
Evil Dead. So,
Usually,
or not the Evil Dead. It's not the Evil Dead, just Evil
no,
Dead.
just Evil Dead. This is one of three main Evil Dead games before the more recent online one came out. The trilogy is Evil Dead Hail to the King, Evil Dead Fistful of Boomstick, and Evil Dead Regeneration. You can find Let's Plays of all of them on my channel.
But
But a little setup for this game, for the PS1 game.
yeah,
This takes place after the movie Army of Darkness. So
that's the
everything
second
that's
film.
happened in the movies has happened for this version. Um,
And that's Evil Dead 2, isn't it?
what?
Army of
That's
Darkness.
Evil Dead 3.
Evil Dead 3. Okay. This shows my knowledge, everyone.
Yes.
Just so you know.
So he went. So he cut off the hand. He got the chainsaw. He defeated the people. He Linda got killed. Annie got killed. He killed Henrietta. He got sucked back in time to to the Middle Ages. He built his robot hand in the Middle Ages. You don't have the robot hand in the game. He fought an evil version of himself, killed an evil version of himself, and then fought an evil version of himself again, and protected a castle from an army of skeleton warriors, and then got sent back to modern day. So a lot has happened for poor Ash Williams.
That is a lot of stuff to take into your mind.
A lot. This man has suffered a lot because some like don't follow all the movies. This follows all three movies. This comes after all three movies. He's had a bit of a bad time, and the setup of why he is where he is his girlfriend says, "Hey, you got to face like this tragedy that happened and the death of your friends."
Yeah, let's
You,
go back to the cabin and let's
yep.
bury the past.
And for some fucking
Big
reason,
mistake.
for some fucking reason, Ash says yes.
Why would you do that?
I have a deep answer to that, a deep secret about Ash Williams that you will pick up if you watch the movies.
Go on, tell
He
me.
is a moron. Ash is stupid. He is a very, very stupid man. That's why he went back. Ash is
He is
not
an
a man who makes
idiot.
good decisions.
No, he's a bloody idiot.
He's a muppet, basically.
Yeah. Um, anyone who doesn't know who might be watching from across the pond, Muppet means idiot over in the UK.
It's synonymous with a word beginning with R that we don't say.
Oh, actually, no. It's the wrong word I'm thinking of. I'm thinking of the word plank.
Well, he's
So,
a plank too.
if you,
He's a muppet plank.
yeah, but a plank is basically an idiot. The only reason I remember that is because Gordon Ramsay called someone in Hell's Kitchen a plank, and they looked at him like, "What's a plank?"
My favorite
He,
thing Gordon Ramsay ever did was put two pieces of bread on either side of a
"What
woman's
are
head.
you, idiot sandwich?"
Yes, that was
Yeah.
glorious.
Yes. Anyway, getting back to this.
So he's there. His girlfriend gets kidnapped almost immediately by his evil self
Who comes out the mirror
because
smiling
his severed hand turns on turns on the tape recorder to play the book again because his hand is still there, and
And
everything
and
starts
it
up
just
again.
waits conveniently somewhere in a corner for him to come back in so it can turn on the thing that will
Yep,
play the book.
yep. And then
And it doesn't have eyes though, does it?
no, it doesn't.
So how the hell does it know that he came back?
Magic.
Oh,
It manages to kick his ass while it's attached to him. Evil Dead's a
okay,
lot.
fair.
Evil Dead is a lot. Trust me.
No, I believe you.
So you start in the cabin and you realize right away this is a Resident Evil clone. It is
Yeah, I was just about to say that.
shameless how much of a Resident Evil clone it is.
Yeah,
Damn that.
another thing, it's not a good Resident Evil clone.
No,
It's
it's
it it literally is Resident Evil done badly because it's got
save
what
even has save tapes.
save tapes and a fucking item chest.
Yep.
Or and you can't call it the box or the chest. It's something else, but it's still a box that you store items in.
Yep.
Because just like in Resident Evil, Ash can't carry everything under the sun.
Though it does have one thing that Resident Evil doesn't have. Two things actually. One, you have your
What?
chainsaw hand,
Yeah.
which runs on actual fuel in the game.
Yeah, but that's like his like signature item, isn't it?
Yeah, he has the chainsaw and he has the sawed-off double-barreled shotgun,
Yeah.
which
So
you do
the
not
chains,
start with the shotgun.
but the chainsaw is his key item. So
Yeah,
that is actually taken from Resident Evil because in Resident Evil every character has their own item. Jill has the lockpick, Chris has the lighter, vice versa,
well, it's his main.
etc. etc. Right?
It's also his primary melee weapon, and it runs on gasoline. You have to continuously fuel the chainsaw up if you want to have it on. I mean, you can
Hmm.
smack people with it when it's off, but it doesn't do nearly as much damage. I will
No.
say they do away with it running on fuel in the subsequent games,
Oh, thank God for that.
and it's a definite improvement. The main thing that Resident Evil doesn't have that this game has is there's a taunt button.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
a button
No, I agree.
that the whole point is for him to say, "Come get some, let's go, groovy, come get some." Every time you pick up an item, he'll say "groovy." By the way, so that's fun. But
Is he voiced by
yes, he is Bruce Campbell is in all three games.
and he played Ash, didn't he though?
He played
Right.
Ash. Yeah, no
And he's
one
also the
plays Ash except for Bruce Campbell, except in the
yeah.
musical
No.
because Bruce Campbell can't sing. No, he can. He can say he just was. Why isn't he?
Unavailable.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's also the narrator in Spider-Man games,
All three, yeah.
all three. Yeah, even though in the third one he sounds more like a person who just taunts you.
Yeah.
Well,
Because
in
he's
two he does
also
it
in all three Spider Man movies.
as a different. Yes, he is. I mean, in the
In the
second
first
game,
one, he
if
is
you
the wrestling. He's the ring announcer for the wrestling in the first movie.
yeah
In the second movie, he is the guy who won't let Peter into the theater to see Mary Jane's show because he showed up late. And in the third one, he is the waiter who is not French.
yeah, there's also
Do
a
you know
funny little
why I
thing about
say he's the waiter who's not French?
'cause
He
well,
speaks in a
you
French
know
accent. He speaks in a French accent. But he has one line, "Ah, romance. I understand. I am," and then he says, without the French accent, "I am French."
well he's got some quirkiness to him because there's a bit in Spider-Man 2
What are you doing?
if you
What are you doing, you big fluffer? Come on.
in the tutorial, if you fall down when the game will slow down until you do a web swing.
Mm.
If, however, you decide not to do that, you will land flat on the ground and effectively die, but not die. And if you do it 3 more times, Bruce will be like, "Why are you doing that again?" In that really annoying voice
But
that
a
he
few
does.
things to know about this game, aside from the fuel. The Deadites, these are the zombies and stuff, and ghosts and stuff,
They respawn.
constantly. In many cases, don't bother. In many cases, just run. Just run. You start out in the cabin. It's a very good recreation of the cabin from the movies. Well, the second movie. It's a different cabin in the first movie. It looks a lot worse in the first movie. Um,
What was it different? Is it a different cabin that's what?
um,
Is it just the same cabin that is it the same cabin that moves or interior changes or what?
well, the first one had basically no budget, and the second one is less. It's half a sequel because the first half is like a recap of the first movie.
Oh, okay.
He does not go back to the cabin. He's not that stupid yet. But it's because they go to a different actual cabin for the first one than the second one. To film it, I mean.
Hmm.
But you get to explore the cabin. It's kind of fun to getting to explore the movie set. Gameplay wise, it's Resident Evil.
Yeah.
You find an axe and you find a pistol, and you also can find some food and vitamins and stuff, which will be healing items. Until you also find a machine that lets you turn red mushrooms into health packs and white mushrooms into fuel.
And you can combine red and white mushrooms, can't you?
No,
I'm sure you can combine
you can,
something.
you can't you. There are certain other items you can put through the converter to turn them into fuel, like a gat, like you find some moonshine. But just like you cannot combine food and gasoline to make something. That doesn't make sense.
No, no, I didn't mean that. I mean, I remember you can combine some things.
You get weapon upgrades you can combine with your weapons, but that's about it.
Fair enough.
But as you explore, your goal is to find all the missing pages of the Necronomicon.
Which are scattered everywhere, including this fucking horrible maze that I could not navigate because there's no fucking map in this game.
Mm-hmm.
Um, which is my first negative point. The fact that if there was a map in this game that maybe did one better than Resident Evil, because this did come out after all three Resident Evils. All three had come out by this point. One came out in '96. Directors came out in '97 because they had to redo two because that was 80% done. They scrapped it. Two came out in '98. One of my favorite games of all time. One of my top three games of all time. And three came out in '99.
So
And then
you go around collecting, exploring and collecting stuff, mainly collecting pages. Your first major stop is you find a hillbilly town, like a little hillbilly village. The hillbillies are possessed, and they apparently trapped the mom, the grandma, in her bed in a magical force field. And you find your shotgun here. Actually, you find the boomstick.
fun fact.
Yes.
Just you remember that you said this game came out in 2000. This game had a competitor of Resident Evil. It had Resident Evil Survivor as its competitor.
Okay, so I guess
A game that you cannot say can go up against this game because that game, as it stands, is awful. I played it. I mean, it's all right, but it's not great. I know Aidan Watkins has modded it, so it's more like the original, the other Resident Evils, which is brilliant. And I know he's going to go back to it once he's finished what he's doing. I just wanted to pop that in there really quickly. I didn't mean to cut you off there, mate.
so.
Sorry.
You fight some hillbillies. There's a lot of pig noises, and there's a room where they're presumably slaughtering humans. And you get the page. You take the force field down. You release the old woman, and it turns out that she's evil. She's a giant spider lady, and we get our
Oh,
first boss of the game.
that that boss. Nightmares are coming back.
Yep. She likes to hide out
I think I
off
got.
camera. She just likes to hang out off
I
camera and
think I
attack you
got to the
from there.
point. Mm, I think I got to this point, but I didn't. I think I found this cabin, but I was like, "What the fuck? I don't need to do." I didn't know what I had to do. I had collected the documents. I couldn't get through the maze because there's this one bit of the maze where these guys that are enemies will just stand in your way and will not let you by.
Yep.
And no matter what you do, you attack one of them, another one will then appear when you kill another one, and vice versa, and you're literally chained in.
Mm-hmm. That's the game.
They stun lock you, in other
Yep.
words.
That's an accurate description of the situation.
Yeah.
So you beat her, you get the page, and then you manage to get through the maze, and then you get to a campground. This campground, it's there's a Boy Scout. It's essentially the Boy Scout. They're called the Wolverine Scouts, but they're Boy Scouts, and they've all been possessed. And some shoot you with bows, some stab you with knives. You find a rifle here, which is your best ranged weapon. You find that here, and you find something like that. The first one to get possessed was the troop leader, and then he like got the demons into the other kids too. Then you go into the
Yeah.
caves. You fight the scout leader. He has a machete and summons bats to kill you.
Oh, yes, I remember what you had to do. I could not work out for the life of me how to beat this boss. I researched it. It turns out you have to hit the fucking
Yep, yep.
pillars. But how do you know
Because when
that?
he's doing his thing, the pillars will shake or flash or something.
Okay, okay, that's fine, but for a first-time player, you don't know that's what it means.
It's something I've taken to call a guidebook game. It's a game made intentionally as confusing as possible to get you to buy the strategy guide.
I will agree with that one.
A lot of games did this back in the day. Um, so you beat them, you get the page, and then you get to you go to a cemetery in town. At the gates, you find a tree, big evil tree. You kill it.
Yep.
He says, "Yo, tree bitch, let's go," which is a reference to his famous line in Army of Darkness, which is, "Yo, she bitch, let's go." You talk to this preacher who's like, "Hey,
I was going to ask about that just before you got onto the scout camp, but
what?"
about this bit about meeting the
Yeah,
priest at the
you meet him
gates.
after, or I met him after.
Okay.
You can do it in any order. So you just have to get all the pages to get to this guy.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
And he tells you, oh, there's evil around, that's why I have the gate locked. But I can send it back. You gotta find the rest of the pages, and I need you to find the Kandarian dagger. So you go through the crypts a lot, through the cemetery a lot, and through an old church. You fight a skeleton of yourself. Oh, there's also a puzzle where you give you give part things you find on bosses on their graves to unlock the crypt. You go in, you find a skeleton of you. He's a skeleton dressed like you with the chainsaw hand. Um,
I think I remember that.
you actually you upgrade your chainsaw with the pieces from his chainsaw and has a bigger tank now, so it holds more fuel, so it can run longer. and then you go into
How long can yours run, bitch? Mine's got to be in a tank. That's the kind of thing Ash would say, I think.
well, what he says is good, bad. I'm the guy with the gun. I think he reuses that line there. Then he goes into the catacombs, which somehow leads you into the cellar of the cabin.
Game
Game
logic.
and like it's exact. It's like there's the projector. It is a perfect a 1-to-1 replica of the cellar from the movie. You find the projector. You have to turn off some steam to get through, and then you fight Annie. Annie is Professor Nobi's daughter from the first movie. She has the dagger. Actually, your severed hand killed her with the dagger. So you have to fight her to get the dagger. She's really strong, and she extends her neck like Henrietta in the movie. But you do fight her. You kill
Hmm.
her. You get the dagger, and you emerge up into the cabin, and the priest is there. You give him the dagger and the pages, but oh no, it's Evil Ash. He takes the hat off and he's
Who's
Evil Ash. And he has your girlfriend, and you just gave him the Necronomicon and the dagger, so he opens a portal back in time and he goes.
Oh, and also, I saw this on your LP when I watched some of the first
Yeah.
video. Um, you fight your old girlfriend in the garden in front of the cabin.
Yes, but that she's a minor boss. She's like an Easter egg more than anything.
You know, I know she comes up from
Yeah,
like
Linda.
the dirt patch, doesn't she, like
Yeah, you
of
find
the
Linda.
garden.
It's where you buried her in the movie.
Yeah.
But congratulations, you have beaten Evil Dead Army of Dark, Evil Dead Hail to the King, Disc One. Because you go through the port. Now it's time for Disc Two, because games used to.
Do you know what? Do you know what? I actually think that would have been a good ending to the game because they could have then had another game after this, or even included it in a follow-up game like the other games, but just carried it on. I think maybe extended things a bit more because I remember you go down at the back of the scout camp like this mountain path. I remember you do that, but I can't remember what that is um, or why you go there. I think I might be going to go down to the cave, um, but yeah, I think that when he goes through, it's like essentially like maybe it wouldn't have been good if it ended there, but the game I can't remember how long the game is up until that point. A good few hours, maybe
I
a
mean,
good
it's the
two
length
and a
of the
half
disc.
hours. Yeah, so a good if it's good two and a half hours and it's got four bosses in it,
Hmm.
essentially, then I essentially yes, that's basically how long Resi is. You can do Resi in 2.5 or 2 hours if you're a speedrunner. Um, so that is actually probably a good length for a game like this. I think it probably, if Ash was revealed as the priest was revealed as evil Ash, he took your girlfriend into the past and then like it ends there, or like something like that. I think that would have been probably, but then I don't know, maybe the second half actually makes up for that.
But then you load up the second disc, and you fall from the sky into ancient Persia, or is it? Can't remember what the city was, but you're in the Middle East. You're in medieval times in the Middle East. Um, this is not exactly great for Ash. Doesn't have a great track record with time travel. But you meet a merchant who has your car, and he gives you some gas from the car, which he doesn't understand. And you have to get to this madman who's in prison called Al Hazarat. He's called Abdul Al Hazarat. And
And he is the author of the book.
actually, this is where it gets interesting, and where this game becomes really interesting for me, because this game did not come up with Abdul Al Hazarat. Abdul Al Hazrad, aka the Mad Arab, is the man who wrote or essentially translated from ancient texts, um, Al Azif, which is the Necronomicon of the Cthulhu mythos. This game establishes that the Necronomicon from Evil Dead is the same Necronomicon from Lovecraft. And I think that's really cool.
So, I suppose that sounds cool. It sounds interesting.
Because it mentions the Great Old Ones and everything. In the comics, there's a crossover with Reanimator, which is a Lovecraft property. I like these two things being connected.
I think it's the fact that when they give hints that they're both in the same universe. Um, so it does have a bit of interest there. I mean, there's a lot they can do there, to be honest with you, that they can then explore. Oh yeah, well this is like got ties to Lovecraft, and that is an interesting way of looking at it. Um, yes, I think I do like this bit. I remember going into this tower and going through like getting. I think you rescue someone or something like that.
Yeah, you rescue
Um,
you get Abdul out. Um,
no, not just him. I mean, other people. I'm sure you rescue other people
but
too.
you find out that there's
Because
this cult basically who's taken over the city, who's which is run by the old ones. You find a few upgrade kits which are important because use these to upgrade your guns. You turn the pistol into a nail gun, um, the shotgun into a rock salt shotgun, and the rifle into a spike rifle that shoots spikes. I guess so you can justify
cool.
finding ammunition for them in the Middle Ages. But and they do more damage. You fight some skeleton warriors. You fight this big iron golem guy by dumping hot and then cold water on him so he can crack, so you can damage him. After
Hmm.
you kill him, you get a big chainsaw upgrade called the Damascus Steel Chainsaw, which in my opinion looks fucking ridiculous.
What is it? Good ridiculous or
He has
bad
it's a
ridiculous?
circular saw instead of a chainsaw, so he looks like he just has a giant
Hmm.
pizza cutter attached to his hand. So it's not. It doesn't look. It looks like he shouldn't be able to lift it with his arm on his arm. It's not great. And
Video game
yeah.
logic.
Uh,
See, the thing is with video games, everyone who's listening, is that they can do pretty much everything and don't have to explain why they're doing it because it is video games. And when you see it in the video game, it's like, why the fuck are they doing that? And anyone who says that to me, I go, video game logic.
so Abdul tells Ash that he has to go into they need to get someone small with a mind that won't go insane to go through this little tunnel to unlock a thing. So he uses his severed hand for that. You go through the sewers. You fight the skeleton of Jake from the second movie. Not sure how he ended up here. Um,
I don't remember
well,
that.
you haven't seen Evil Dead 2. You fight a skeleton in overalls with a wrench. It's Jake.
Yeah. It's been a long time since I played it. I can't remember when did I play it actually? I know I did it for Halloween, that's for sure.
There's so you explore. You see old one laboratories. There's a really funny part that comes up actually. There's this to enter the one of the
Hmm.
big gates. There's this like puzzle, and it's like, oh, it's all this is connected to like astrological signs and chemical this and alchemical that, and Ash just does something I wish more video game protagonists would do. He just shoots it, It's this big, complicated puzzle, and he says "fuck this" and shoots it, and the door opens. It's
Fair enough.
it's like the
Yeah,
Doom
my
Slayer from
one,
2016 Doom. Here's the important plot. I don't
I
care.
did, I did mine in 2020. It was October 2020 actually. And one of my titles from my video was number 6. Yo, tree bitch.
Yep, that's a line that he says that.
um, Onto the church, backstabbing
Yep,
priest, the origins of that
yep.
book, hot and cold
That's the Iron Golem.
on the tr- on the trial of evil me. I think I
Yep.
meant trail or
You
tail.
do eventually track down Evil Ash. He has gone back to the present. He goes back to the future, and you keep following him, and you basically you have your boss fight with him. You kill him in one form where he's just walking at you, and then he turns into a big monster, and then you kill him in that form, and then you save the day, sort
Yeah,
of.
but
The ending cutscene actually is kind of funny because you're with your girlfriend, you're walking through your hometown in Dearborn, Michigan, and you look in a bookshop window, and oh no, the Necronomicon has reached like worldwide publication, and there's like a Harry Potter parody where it's about the book too, and it's all sorts of nonsense, which actually leads
mm,
directly to the beginning of Evil Dead: Fistful of Boomstick.
I like how they kind of lead it in. But my just getting just doing one quick thing quickly. So the first episode was called The Darkness in the Woods. Second was called The Forest of Confusion.
Yep.
3 was called Some Progress because I made no progress
Yeah.
at all. That was 43 minutes. That shows how long I was going around that fucking hedge maze. And the fourth one was called Hillbillies.
Can I give my episode titles?
Oh, and then 5 was called Granny Spider, and as I said, 6, Yo Trevich, 7 Onto the Church. Yes, you can.
So I'm
One
waiting
second.
it for the
And
load.
8,
So
Backstabbing Priest. 9, Origins of that book. 10, Hot and Cold, and on the tail of Evil Me. There you go.
it's still loading for me. So give me a second. All right.
Oh, okay.
Crack the knuckles. I got done 7 parts. We got first up. Back to the cabin. Squeal like a pig. That's for the hillbilly area. Impromptu musical number. Long story. We just randomly started singing Nightmare Before Christmas. Annie, are you okay? That's the boss fight with Annie. Arabian Nights. It's when you wind up in Persia. Dumb looking saw is when
Yeah.
we get the saw, and the old William's luck is the name of the final episode where we fail to save the world.
Yeah, I just had a look at it, yeah.
So this game, and I'm not surprised you don't like this game because you're not an Evil Dead fan. And I can safely
No, I'm not.
say, and this is looking at it purely objectively, this game has absolutely nothing to offer you if you're not an Evil Dead fan. Yeah, it's got nothing for you. It's not for you.
I just I just found the comment you left on my first episode, I think it was. Hang on. And it was you thought that Blade had bad controls, so you played How to the King. Heh, all right.
Yeah, I thought the Blade game had pretty good controls actually.
That's not what you said here.
It has better controls than this.
I thought you said that Blade had better
Yeah,
controls than
Blade
this.
1 has better controls than this. Blade 2 we don't talk about.
Yeah, yeah. I think. Well, you just said Blade.
Yeah, I don't think you played Blade 2, so
No, I
don't.
haven't.
It's terrible. You attack with the right stick.
Not yet. Oh,
Yeah.
no.
But
You thought Blade had bad control, so you played Hail to the King.
So, Evil Dead Hell to the King is
Hmm.
not a good game. I, I'm
Nope.
not even going to say it's not a great game. No, this is a bad game. I can fully admit this game is objectively bad. And I imagine I give it like I did my Let's Play. I did have cheats on. I played it with a friend. I had fun with it, but the fun did not. Just like Land of the Dead, the fun did not come from the game itself. The fun came from us making fun of it.
Yeah. I I didn't play this game with cheats. I struggled to get through that fucking hedge maze, which was the bane of my life. A bit like the bit we don't talk
Yep.
about in the Mummy. The river,
I said
the
we don't
log
mention the
river.
war.
Um, yeah, we don't mention the log river, even though I've just mentioned it. It's a
Yes.
running joke. Anyway, even though I know it annoys
I
Matt.
don't actually care. I just want to. I just like an excuse to reference faulty towers.
Oh, fair enough. So yeah, so that hedge maze is the bane of my existence, just like that fucking log level is, or even the one where you're chasing Benny and you're like, right, it's time, the
Yep.
sheets are coming out,
Yep. And
fuck
the cheats
this.
didn't even help.
Nope, because you still can
Yep.
get run over. No, you can't still get run over by the boulder by the running barrels.
So,
And believe it or not, that was our first episode of
yep.
this
Yep.
series that we did.
So, I can
So
safely. And this is coming from an Evil Dead fan who loved all the references. The most I can give this game's a 4. And that's coming at it as a fan of the franchise. The best I can give it is a
I, ju-
4 out
I
of
just
10.
I just think right, and this is what I actually looked up um, the page on Wiki, and this is what it says um, about critical reception, and
Mostly
I'll give
negative,
my score.
I'm assuming.
The PlayStation version, How to the King, received mixed reviews, while the Dreamcast and PC versions received generally unfavorable reviews, according to review aggregation website Metacritic. All games said that the Dreamcast graphics were stagnant, still lifeless, and that needed better controls, better combat, and a better feel and look. Greg Orlando of Next Generation said of the same the same of the console version. With apologies to Carl Sandberg, this game belongs the dead, to the dead and to the wilderness. So reception, aggregated scores, Metacritic, Dreamcast 49 out of 100, which is absolutely horrendous. 40 out of 100 for the PC and 51 for PS. And then it just goes down. Dreamcast getting like 1.5 stars. PS getting 1.5 stars. PC got nothing. 1 star on the next one from Computer Gaming World. 4.5 out of 10, which is about where your score is. 4.17 out of 10. There is nothing here that is above 5. The lowest it's got, from what I can see here, is 3.6 from IGN, which is horrendous. Um, and PC Gamer didn't even bother reviewing it.
Understandable.
Oh no. I stand corrected. The most it got, the highest it got was 3 stars from GamePro, and official US PlayStation Magazine gave it 2.5 stars
Out of 10 or out of 5? That
out of
seems
5.
high.
Three
That
stars
seems
out of
high.
5.
I'm a massive Evil Dead fan,
That
and I
is
give this
the
a 4.
GamePro on Dreamcast. It got 3 stars. On PS, it got 3 stars. PC, it didn't. Um, GameSpot gave on PC 3.4 out of 10. PS, it got 4.2 out of 10. And GameSpot gave the Dreamcast 4.5 out of 10. So the Dreamcast one, according to that, is the best one, but from that critical reception I read, it the Dreamcast version's graphics were stagnant still
Yep.
and lifeless. So my review, I think, this game it could have been brilliant. It really could have been great if they had, um, I think if they'd gone down their own road. So like a bit like these fan games like, Daymare
Yep.
1998, for example. That isn't a Resident Evil clone. It's their own IP. So yeah, it's got over the shoulder. A lot of games use over the shoulder. If you use fixed camera angles, it doesn't matter. It's a concept that is used and a thing that is used to either a really good way of using it or a really bad way. Um, Fixed camera has their own charm. Um, but this game could have been good if they'd actually maybe just gone down sort of like not trying to clone Resident Evil. Why you had to do that when on the same year you had Resident Evil Survivor, which is the worst one you could come up against. If you come up against Resident Evil 2, you'd have a chance. Not a chance. But you came up against Survivor, a game that is notoriously held as the worst PS1 Resident Evil, and you could have been better than that. And that game was terrible.
And I played the other two Evil Dead
So
games as well. Um,
I
Fistful
haven't
of
yet.
Boomstick tries to be too much its own thing, I'd argue. Like, there's this almost incomprehensible magic system they put in. Everything's very, like, it's difficult and in a way that isn't enjoyably challenging. It's what you'd call a where do I go game. It's impossible to find out where you're going. Enemies spawn constantly, and very little ammo is available. Now,
Yeah.
I don't think survival horror is the right fit for Evil Dead. Is the thing. Like, if
Mhm.
you're doing Evil Dead 1, if you're doing the first one, sure, survival horror.
Well,
But
this
you
game
got a
is
dude with a
described.
chainsaw for a hand, right?
Yep. Well, this game is described as the first bit of the wiki is a survival horror video game. It is not. Developed by Heavy Iron Studios and published by THQ. Oh, THQ. Released for the PlayStation, Dreamcast, and Microsoft Windows, the game acts as a sequel to the 1992 film Army of Darkness, as you said
Yeah.
at the start. This was the second video game released to be based on the Evil Dead film franchise, following the 1984 title The Evil Dead, and was the first video game to be developed by Heavy Iron Studios.
The thing is, in my opinion, the regeneration is the best one. Now, it's not original. It's ripping off God of War, but that fits Evil Dead better, in my opinion, than does Resident Evil.
Yeah.
Like Evil Dead, it's like when they did Doom 3 and tried to make Doom scary. It doesn't work as scary. It's because Evil Dead 2 is horror. It's more a video game should be more of that should be more action than horror, if you know what I mean.
hmm Do you know
What
what
else?
else these guys made after Hail to the King? Hail to the King was their first game in 2000. These guys are still going strong. They're still
Okay.
active as of 2020. They then made in 2002 Scooby-Doo Night of a Hundred
Oh
Frights.
God.
It's the
Oh
same
no,
people.
I did that this year and I hated it. I
Um,
hated
they
that one.
co-developed they co-developed Road
Okay.
Rage, Call of Duty World War Two. They what? They developed this? No. Oh, and they co-developed Black Ops Cold War as well, and Infinity Ward, Call of Duty Infinite Warfare, which is one of the worst. Call of Duties. And I'm doing a Call of Duty playlist, and I've got to play every single game, and I've got to get through that game, and I'm
Okay,
not
so the
looking forward
short
to that.
the short version is these people are not good at game development.
Well, I think if they're co-developing a game, I mean, Black Ops Cold War was good. It's a good game. I don't know how much input they had on that, but that was not a bad game. But I think if they would do, I mean, it goes to show their last game that they did in 2020 was Pac-Man Mega Tunnel
What?
Battle. So that goes to show, I think.
Anyway,
So
favorite
yeah.
level, least favorite level.
Um, okay. Well, for my out of 10, I would say I'm going to give it a 5. I'm not going to be, too hard on the game. It does have some bits that were good, but least favorite part has to be that fucking hedge maze. Where the monsters just appear in front of you. You run out of ammo. You run out of fuel for your fucking chainsaw. You can't go anywhere. You're running down a path back from the scout camp. Okay, the whole of the first sort of section of the scout camp and the maze, because it's both basically the same thing. And you go into the scout camp, and I think I think I didn't work out that they were respawning until later on. And I killed these people on the way to the scout camp. When I came back, they fucking popped up again. And as soon as I killed one, another fucking one popped up. I killed that one, another one popped up. I was like, so yes. But my favourite level, I'd say, it's probably I'd say the past probably is. I think that's probably where it kind of, I don't know how I was with that. I think maybe I was kind of like interested. Um, I did think, it's not, it's not a bad RE clone. It just doesn't do the stuff that it's trying to do of RE right. Like I said, it needs to do its own thing. Don't You don't need item
No.
boxes. You don't. X Files, which I did this year for Halloween, for example, that doesn't have Xbox chests or anything like that. You have an infinite items system. Okay, all your guns are taken when you go to the next fucking chapter or episode, but apart from that, it's fine.
I think least favorite level would probably be the woods between the cabin and the hillbilly camp. And
Hmm.
favorite would be the tunnels where you get to the projection room. Yeah,
Okay.
that's favorite, least favorite, and favorite for me.
Where's the projection room?
It's you get to it through the tunnels in the graveyard, but it's under
Mm.
the cabin somehow.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah. Somehow when you go through those tunnels from the church, is it a church you go
yeah.
through the tunnels? Yeah, and then for some reason you then go back down the way to get back to the cabin, because the cabin is I would say is south of the church,
Yeah.
maybe. You would have to go down even though the tunnels show basically you're going either round a corner and stuff. How they navigate themselves back to the fucking cabin, God alone knows. But again, it's video game logic. Um, but yeah, like I said, my least favorite is probably the like what you just said, the maze and the around the scout camp and stuff like that. I think it does do things. It does try. I'm not going to crap on the game too much. It is our final one this year, so I'm not going to go off on a low point about the games. But actually, that's probably not something quite interesting idea. So all the games we've done for our podcast this year, what would you highlight as being the one that was the most enjoyable for you?
If I'm looking at it purely from a gameplay perspective, not from having fun recording it with a friend, then it would
Mm.
probably be the thing.
Yeah, I think we done Thing, Land of the
Curse,
Dead,
the Eye of Isis, Nightmare
Curse.
Creatures, and this.
I would say probably from a nostalgia point of view, I'd say Nightmare Creatures does have nostalgia, um, because it is a nice game. It's fun, but from a game that is a great setting, and just is subject to one of the best films ever made, I'd agree with the Thing as well.
Right. I think that that Nightmare Creatures and Evil Dead: Hail to the King should have been one game. It may have if that was the first Evil Dead game, played more like Nightmare Creatures than Hail to the King. That could have worked, I think.
Yeah, but yeah. So that's all of our podcasts for this year done
Yep.
and dusted. Um, So it's been a bit of a rocky ride because in the middle of actually recording all these, I was actually ill
Oh
for a
yeah.
whole weekend. So that's why one was delayed. So the last one was delayed, and I rearranged Land of the Dead because I made a complete balls up of that. So those who watched that original one, who were confused about why there was the ending in the middle, that was my screw up. I am sorry, but I think I was starting to feel ill or I was already unwell, one of the two. So I am very sorry about that. That's why I changed that to episode 2 when I
I
re-uploaded it.
think
No, I changed Curse
I
to
think I
2. Sorry.
like Evil Dead: Hail to the King less now, knowing it's from the same people who brought me Scooby Doo: Night of a Hundred Frights.
I've not played Scooby Doo, so I can't
It's the
say.
game is dreadful, but that's I think that's been cemented by my Let's Play this year.
Hmm. That
No,
one's
that was
next
this
year,
year.
isn't it?
First
Oh, it
four
was this year.
days.
Oh, I didn't actually see it.
It was it
I must not have
opened
clocked it.
this year for me.
I might actually have a look.
Anyway,
That
I've been
one.
Merrick Tomato,
And I've been Classic
and
Gamer.
thank you for watching the Narwhal and Classics Pro
And
Play
enjoy the rest of
podcast.
your Halloween.
Happy Halloween. Don't eat too much candy.
Happy Halloween. Enjoy and don't do anything. Please be safe. Don't do anything silly. Halloween is a night for scares, yes, but don't do anything overzealous.
Yeah.
Be
Yep.
kind, be
Yep.
decent to people, have fun, and we'll see you
Yeah.
next year.
Well, maybe before that if we have something else to talk about. But
Maybe.
yeah.
See you
Check out
soon.
my channel, link in the description
Bye.
below, and check out
Uh,
Classix Twitch.
uh, Yep. Check out my Twitch and go and give Merrick a sub. He's nearly at 700
Almost
subs.
there.
So help him. Yeah, almost there. Show him some love. I put that in my descriptions as well. So go over and show him some love and attention and help him reach there. And help me get to 650. That would be amazing. And thanks for watching and listening, guys. And we'll see you all in the next podcast, which will be after
Yep.
Halloween now.
Bye.
All right. Bye bye.